Imu has begun his devastation of One Piece and is currently running the gauntlet on Elbaf. Walk with me. It's a motherfucking channel. Today, we will be getting into everything we know about Imu's power so far as 1181. And there's a lot to talk about, so just walk with me. This is not a theory video, so I won't be getting theoretically... I won't be speculating, okay? That's not what I'm gonna do here. I'm going for everything that we know. And let's start with the act of Domi Reversi. Using a magic book to cast a demonic abyss pentagram mark, trapping its victims inside. Allowing the user to transform another being, turning them into a mind-controlled demon, completely flipping their personality in the process, making them demonic buffed slaves. The victims also gain regenerative abilities in Domi Reversi. And for example, let's look at King Harold. When King Harold was Domi Reversi, he was already strong, okay? He was the king of the giants. You better be strong. He also had ancient giant blood in him. So when he was Domi Reversi'd, he was tenfold that, okay? And nobody could defeat him, not Shanks, not Gaban. It was Loki that defeated him. And it's just like, wow. I mean, people are kind of overseeing Domi Reversi. I'm not. I think it's such an interesting power, and I kind of want to see more of it. Now, people have theories about this whole Domi Reversi situation and how it happens or how it can happen, how it only works on someone's homeland. I think that is stupid. I'm sorry. I think that is such a if that is the case, I think it's stupid. I don't like that. If that is the case, I just don't, because it feels like a nerf. And I mean, Imu definitely needs a nerf, low-key, because he's very overpowered right now. But like, I just think that's a stupid nerf if that's the case. Mind you, this is not a theory video, but another theory people have about the Domi Reversi situation is he can't do it to Devil Fruit users. And it's like, once again, that's a nerf that I'm really not a fan of, because in what world didn't Imu know that Luffy and Loki didn't have devil fruits? You know what I'm saying? Because in one of the latest chapters, Imu tries to Domi Reversi Loki and Luffy, and it just doesn't work. And that's where people are getting this. It doesn't work on devil fruit users, but it doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't Imu know this about their own power, or how Luffy and Loki didn't have devil fruits in the first place? I just don't think it doesn't make sense, okay? It's stupid. I think there's definitely more to it, but once again, this is not a theory video, so let's move on. The power of the devil's fruit. First of all, what the fuck? What does that mean? Hello? This is either saying a lot or really nothing at all, because does it mean a power of a devil fruit, or the power of the devil's fruit? What does that mean exactly? And this is why I don't really want to speculate on things, I don't want to sound dumb, but oh my god, it could mean so many things. When Imu was officially revealed, his introduction box said this, and I don't know, could this explain his devilish powers? I have a video, I don't remember what video it is, but I'll put it up on the screen, where I claim that Imu's devil fruit is the devil fruit. Okay, and this could explain everything that we've seen with this demonic devilish power that is clearly unmatched to anything that we've seen in One Piece. Either way, however this unfolds, it's a very interesting way to describe a character's power characteristics dynamic. And next, we're going to talk about the power of transformation. The very first time we see a glimpse of what Imu's power can do, it was with Sabo and King Cobra, and this moment was insane in the anime and in the manga too. I'm not gonna lie, people were theorizing immediately, okay? And it's just like he went from this smaller looking being to this big giant orb that's traveling fast with a devil's tail and stuff. So iconic. And he can also seemingly transform himself into other people's bodies, because on God Valley he takes over Saint Saturn's body and transforms it into this ungodly being. I don't even know how to explain or what this would even be, but it looks crazy. It looks crazy. It looks great at the same time. And when this is officially animated, OMG, it's gonna be a movie. It's gonna be cinematic. And now on Elbaf, he is transforming his body. He's manipulating his body to be the size, well, almost the size of Loki's body. Insane. It's insane that he can just do this, okay? Because what other character outside of like Luffy and maybe a few other characters that can, you know, maybe enlarge their body to a certain degree, but it seems that Emu it's almost infinite with Emu. And I find that so intriguing. Now let's talk weapons. And it seems at this point with all these broken abilities that a weapon would be overkill. And it is. It definitely is overkill. And I'm here for it. I love that. We give Emu everything. He's introduced with this sword / scepter thing that he's holding, and it looks insane. It looks great, and we still haven't seen him use it yet, but best believe it's going to be overpowered for sure. Let's move on to the power of ex nihilo, or the power to conjure, creating something out of nothing. And when we talked about weapons just a second ago, I said it as plural. With the clash with Loki, he conjures up out of nothing a sword that he calls Nemesis, a completely different sword from the one that he was introduced with. Now you could say that this is the sword that he was introduced with, but he can transform it into whatever he wants or make it look like however he wants it to look. Now I can see that. I kind of like that too, but I don't know. I think I like the conjuring up things more, and it leads me to believe that he can do this with other things as well. Now we're gonna move on to Emu's magic book. This book is crazy to me because outside of the powers like devil fruits and hockey, you know, it's one of those unexplained oddities. For example, like Miss Golden Week's paint. And there's also different things in the story for sure, but that's like the main one that I like to look back on that's not a devil fruit or hockey. And I'm guessing this will explain the devil's contract with, you know, the Holy Knights and the 5 elders. But most importantly, I think it'll explain the Domi Reversi situation, an ancient text, a one of a kind. What I think is going to be, once again, this is not a theory video, so I'm not going too deep on the speculations, but I'm guessing. I'm just very intrigued by this book, and I can't wait to see more of it. I know there's going to be a lot of lore behind it. Now let's talk about his lineage, but once again, I don't want this to be a theory video. I really don't, but we're going to speculate a little bit, okay? He 100% looks to be related to King, and that would make him a Lunarian. Now we already know Lunarians have this insane power. Remember, this is a video about Emu's power. So that would give him crazy speed feats, can fly, natural flame manipulation, insane durability, and environmental adaptation, and insane. It's insane. It's just adding more layers to this final villain. A broken clan, to say the absolute least. And if he's a Lunarian, peak. Now let's move on to the black flame called Omen. He flicks this flame at Zoro's face and inflicts a lot of damage. We still don't know much about this flame, but I'm guessing it's like a Matarasu undying flame type situation, and he's cooking. I'm sorry, Oda is cooking for Emu. Hello. And I can't wait to see the versatility of this flame. Right now we've only gotten 3 chapters showcasing Emu and his power so far, And I really can't wait to see more of that flame. I just know there's going to be more to it. I just do. Now, this is just the beginning, okay? With One Piece being so grand and great, I don't expect nothing less from the final villain. He has to be broken. He has to be otherworldly. And some people might think it's too much. I don't think it's enough. Fuck killing one Straw Hat. Make him kill 3 or 4 of them. I don't give a fuck. I mean, that would be fucked up, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. But like, come on. Come on. If you want a villain to be a villain, make him a villain. You know what I'm saying? And something's coming. Something unfortunate is going to happen on Elbaf. I don't know. This is my coming out as an emu glazer. I'm just being real. Now I want to know what your favorite emu power is so far, or one that you're keeping your eyes on. And mine, in my opinion, is the book. I think that the lore behind it will be very significant and could explain so much that is unexplained in the story of One Piece. I have so much faith riding on that book that I won't be disappointed if that's not where we get the information from, but I need a deep look into that book. Wait 1 second, please. I know I sound crazy, but just walk with me. Today I have a One Piece theory. My theory, I kind of came up with it a little bit by myself. A little bit. I'm adding on to a theory that's already kind of out there. Davy Jones was just introduced into the story through Rox Dizabek and the Davy clan. And his importance will have a huge impact in the story.
Okay, so I filmed this video before chapter 1164 was actually dropped. And I was so right. I mean, we all knew Davy Jones was going to have a bigger role in the story, but turns out he was the king of the old world, which is insane. So just keep walking with me.
Let's start here. A huge theory in the One Piece community is somebody in the past had an awakened devil fruit, which is the chop fruit, and chopped up the poneglyphs and spread them around the world somehow, some way. What if that person was Davy Jones? Walk with me.
And obviously we know that he was very important back in the day. Rox called him the king of the world or whatever, but Emu says that he was no king. So obviously he was either a threat or somebody that Emu just didn't like, or was with somebody that he didn't like. What if he was with Joy Boy, or like on Joy Boy's crew or something like that, like a Vivi type character?
We know that Davy Jones was sent to the bottom of the sea to reside there by the devil themselves. That's what Robin told us. We know it's because he steals treasure, even from his own crewmates, okay? Now, what would make that super easy is to chop it all up, and the only person that can put it back together is the user of the chop fruit, which is Davy. But here's where things kind of get interesting, okay? Because I also just posted a video about how Rox was misunderstood, how we weren't thinking Rox was a good guy. But what if it all was a lie? What if Davy just wasn't a bad guy, okay? What if Davy Jones was allies with Joy Boy in the past? What if? And in order for the history to not be destroyed, he chopped them up, and somebody else that was in the crew, or you know, just allies with Joy Boy, had the paw fruit and sent them around the world. I haven't really put my finger on who I think would have the paw fruit, and it was all a lie. That's why he was sent to the bottom of the sea by the devil, what I'm guessing is Emu, because in Emu's eyes that is the ultimate sin, getting the truth out there. But yeah, I just wanted to make a little theory here. You know, Davy Jones will be important. He wasn't mentioned or revealed for no reason. I feel like he will be important, and if I'm right, that's crazy. But I don't know. I'm just speculating here, you know. But this is my One Piece channel. I post a lot of One Piece content, okay? So walk with me, stick with me. Listen, I say this a lot, but walk with me. Okay, if there's ever a moment that I need you to walk with me, it's now. Today I have another theory video. Okay, this one I kind of came up with by myself mostly, but there is a lot of theories out there about Emu being an alien, not from this planet, some other planet in the solar system of One Piece. Walk with me. The reveal of Emu, whatever it is, will ultimately be next level insanity, okay? And I personally believe he will be an alien, okay? I said walk with me, it's time to get your shoes on. Let's go. Let's talk about what we know from Emu as of right now. The name Narona Emu, okay? The current king of the One Piece world, residing on top of the world government, okay? And is one of the original 20 families that overtook the ancient kingdom, and Joy Boy himself and Davy, at this point now we know, to become the king of the world, founding the world government 800 years ago. Now, that's really all we know. We don't know much more, okay? But let's talk about what we've seen from Emu. In terms of power, the act of Domi Reversi, being able to take control of somebody, turning them into a powerful demon, and having them do your bids, okay? Just basically a demonic puppet. And in even some cases, turning true idols into true rivals. Giving his allies the power of regeneration, which is insane. That is a broken ability in any anime, any show. It's a broken ability, okay? A true power of a demon. But what if it's more than just that? His power, everything we've seen from him is completely out of this world. Alien-like. Okay? Most of the people in One Piece, almost, I would say, 99.9% of the people in One Piece don't know that this man exists, or this being exists, sitting atop of their world. But if they did know that this thing was sitting atop of their world, the world would flip, okay? Not to mention, majority of the world is racist, so if they see something out of the ordinary sitting atop of the world, they're gonna start asking questions and be pissed, okay? But I want to speculate his story a bit more. Now, this is where you need to lace up those shoes and get to walking. Okay? We're walking here. Emu is from a different planet, okay? He came here in search of a few things, okay? One of those things being resources. He came here to drain the world of its resources. And the other thing could be something that his planet lacked or ran out of. It could be, like I said, a resource, but I think it's more than that. So when he came to the planet, I mean, we've seen him transform into a giant demon, okay? So it would make sense that he could transform into a human or One Piece character, okay? And he ends up infiltrating the smartest people on this world, which was the Advanced Kingdom, the Ancient Kingdom. Aligning himself with the legendary warrior Joy Boy and the king of the world at that time, Davy Jones. Now, I believe he brought with him to this One Piece planet the seeds to the Adam and Eve tree, and or just brought devil fruits.
I just want to say it would make sense for him to bring the seed for the Adam tree, because it's been here for a lot longer than I am theorizing Emu was here. But, I mean, who knows, though.
He brought them to the Ancient Kingdom, this being the most advanced kingdom in the world, even more advanced than what we are on One Piece today. I think that this tech, this devil fruit tech, definitely intrigued them and allowed themselves to trust Emu, okay? Giving these people in the Ancient Kingdom devil fruits, not telling them that they couldn't swim. Keep walking. Now, I want to look at the name Narona first, okay? It means candle or my candle. What do candles do? I mean, we all know they hold fire, okay? And I believe that he was looking for the mother flame, okay? And this One Piece planet was the only place that had it, or had the things, the needs, kind of like how we came into life way back whenever we came into life, you know, certain pieces had to come together for this certain thing to happen. And I believe that the One Piece planet is that planet, which Imu's planet lacked. And I believe that this Mother Flame can ignite a deep down seated power within Imu. But not only Imu, other devil fruits as well. There's a video coming out about this very soon. Watch. Now, the ancient kingdom having possession of this Mother Flame, or being able to create it, we really don't know. It's not really clear. Imu was intrigued by that, and in order to fully use it to its best ability, its full control, he needed to get past the ancient kingdom. And I think he does this one of two ways. The first way is flooding the world, not telling the people that he gave devil fruits to that they can't swim, they will just drown out, okay? Or tricking the rest of the world, aligning himself with the rest of the 20 kingdoms to take down Davy Jones and Joy Boy. I won't speculate more in this video. I have a video about that as well that already should be out by now. But whatever he did, it worked. Or did it? I need you to go watch this other video about, I think Joy Boy did something with the Mother Flame. That's why Imu has this vendetta against Joy Boy and the Nika fruit. Go watch that. So for a little recap, Imu is an alien that came from another planet down to the One Piece world with seeds for the Adam and Eve tree, or just the power of devil fruits themselves, in search of the Mother Flame to ignite his true power. Now, we don't know what his end goal is yet. I mean, we don't even know if this is true, okay? I'm just speculating here. Just let me fucking speculate. But what do you think his end goal will be? I don't know. I haven't really thought that far into it yet. Maybe I should stop theorizing a little bit, but I'm not going to. We've had dozens of drops in lore throughout the entirety of the elbaf arc so far. From Loki's devil fruit to the god of war to the events of God Valley. Walk with me. Today we will be getting into some elbaf theories. I love a good theory video, so this just fits in my wheelhouse perfectly. And let's start with the elbaf mural. Now, there's already tons of theories out there about this mural in particular, but I kind of want to talk about the big giant creatures that we see. When it comes to the giant creature in the middle, it's theorized that that is Loki's devil fruit. Now we know that it is a dragon fruit, and it resembles that drawing. And the one holding the sun is, I would think it would be Imu, you know? And who or what or whatever is this other being on the other side of the mural? Well, I think it is the past user of Dragon's devil fruits. Walk with me. And it looks to be like some kind of serpent, and I've narrowed it down to this devil fruit right here. The serpent fruit model Bakinawa. Now you're asking, what is a Bakinawa? A Bakinawa. The Bakinawa is a Philippine serpent-like dragon that was believed to cause storm, rain, and wind, fitting for Dragon himself. Anytime we see Dragon, it's always windy or stormy. Saving Luffy on Logtown, the whole place went windy. And what really points this out, because a lot of people have been theorizing this since the Logtown happened 20 years ago, you know? But in the live action, there is no denying it at this point. The wind came and swept Smoker right away. You know what I'm saying? Because in the source material, it could be mistaken for just, you know, Smoker flying away with his smoke, you know? But no, this shit is real, okay? This nigga has a wind fruit for sure. Now the question is, what exactly would it be? And like I said, I believe it's the Bakinawa, often depicted as the Moon Eater. Now, Luffy being the sun god, and Luffy's theoretical opponent would be the moon god, which is speculated to be either Blackbeard or Emu. The Bacchanal being the natural enemy, being known as a massive serpent that causes eclipse by swallowing the moon. Hello? And in the mural, its mouth is open towards the moon. Now I know I'm reaching here, but there's dots. There are dots here, okay? I'm just trying to connect just a little bit. Not to mention, this creature has marks on it that resemble dragon's tattoos that he has. So I know, once again, it's a bit of a reach, but who knows? I don't know. I just feel very strong about that theory in particular. Now, my next theory is about this whole elbaf timing situation. We get the reveal that time moves slower here on elbaf for some reason, because Gaban believes that it's only been 3 or 4 years since the last time he's chilled with Shanks. But Shanks goes on to say it's been about 10. This happened in a flashback, in the God Valley flashback actually. And Gaban lives on elbaf, so his time perception is all fucky wucky. Now, this theory falls into 2 categories for me. The first is why this time perception is happening on elbaf, and we're gonna get into the other one in a minute. I wanna talk about this real quick. What do we think is going on with the timing of elbaf? What do you guys think? I want to know what you guys think, because some people just don't think that it's real. They just think Gaban is just old and stupid, which could be the case 100%, but I believe that there is a time dilation, perspective, but whatever going on here in elbaf, and this is what I think happened. I believe someone from the past had the Toki fruit, the Toki no Mi, the time fruit, and it awakened. Okay, awakened so much, and they used their power for something that it just put elbaf a few years behind on this One Piece planet. Now I know, once again, I could be reaching, but this is just it. I don't know. It could be interesting if something like that had happened. One of my favorite YouTube One Piece creators, Sasuke, has a theory about Long Ring Longland. You should go check it out. It's really good. But he believes that Long Ring Longland, the past user of the Nika fruit, has expanded Long Ring Longland. That's why all the animals and the trees are long. I was blown away when I first heard this. So I think something like that could definitely happen with other awakened, powerful devil fruits, especially a time fruit. Of course you can fuck up realities and time receptions and stuff with time, so it could happen. Now, I know that was a lot of reaching, but this next theory, we're bringing it back down a little bit, okay? Because if there is a time dilation here on elbaf, what is happening on the outside of elbaf? You know, like, I know they haven't been here for that long, but they've been here for a minute now. By the time they leave, I theorize personally that these other characters out here will have buffs, okay? Blackbeard, Kobe, you know, for example, and all the other characters, you know. I just feel like they're going to be stronger, you know what I'm saying? Which would be bad for our Straw Hats, but this leads me to believe that we will be getting Straw Hat buffs, upgrades very, very soon. I have a video about this coming out. I already did a Luffy upgrade, Gear 6 or whatever. Go watch that, it's pretty good, not gonna lie. It's actually really good, so go check it out. My final theory in this video about elbaf, there's more theories out there. Maybe I should do a part 2, let me know. My final theory in this elbaf theory video is the relationship between Nidhogg and Emu. As of right now, chapter 1176, we don't know the full story, okay? We don't. So I'm going to speculate a little bit. From the details that we do know, it seems that Emu is speaking to the presence, the devil fruit presence, not Loki or Luffy even, or even Rox D. Zebek. He refers to all 3 of them as Nidhogg, Davy Jones, and Nika, or Joy Boy. Now, in all 3 instances, he once again skips the names of the wielder of these devil fruits, or just the presence themselves. The only difference is is the Luffy and the Rocks and Nika and Davy and Joy Boy moment. It was always like hatred or just like hostility, you know? Just not a good feeling for Imu. And with this Nidhogg reaction, it doesn't seem hateful. It seems more like surprise, being shocked to know that the devil fruit was here on Elbaf, which leads me to believe the god of war was one of two things. Either he was on Imu's side and just fought the sun god just because he could, you know, he wanted to prove himself. The warriors of Elbaf are always, you know, just like that, big, very big egos with these characters. Or he was Domi reversied and was forced to fight the sun god. Of course, when he was introduced to us by saying that he fought with the sun god. Now, I think when the sun god won this fight, he brought back the devil fruit to Elbaf and left it there. And this is why Ragnar protects this devil fruit, because he doesn't want the same outcome to happen to its next wielder. And in the mural, this flying dragon at the very top of the mural is facing away towards Imu, as if he's fighting for Imu or with Imu on that side, attacking the serpent there, okay? This isn't out of the realm of possibility, you know, for a giant to be evil or mean or bad guy, whatever, you know, because prior to Herald, the giants were known as like savages or, you know, just very crazy beings. And I could see a giant fighting on the wrong side of history just because, you know, just because he wanted to. The giants are very war driven, or were very war driven, so it could make sense. And one point I want to add to this God of War theory is the head that we see on Onigashima could possibly, quite possibly, be the head of that of the God of War from the ancient times. Because back then, we all know that giants were 15 to 100 times bigger and stronger than what they are now. They are called the ancient giants. Loki has that blood in him, and he's 10 times bigger than your average giant. So I could see that being a possibility, that Onigashima is the head of the past God of War. It's interesting, okay? I want to know how you feel about that theory in particular.
Okay, I'm gonna add a bonus theory here at the end of the video. Okay, so I do spoilers on my spoiler channel. It's called Shanghai Spoilers, and we just got the spoilers for chapter 1178, and this is gonna be such a good chapter. It hasn't came out yet, but I want to make a little bit of a theory based off of the spoilers. So I'm giving you a heads up. If you don't read spoilers and you read the manga, this is a spoil, so check out now if that's the case. But Luffy and Loki both attack Imu, and Imu flees. They leave, they go back to Marijua. In Marijua, Imu says they are about to step out of the castle for a little while. I want to theorize on this right here, because I see a lot of people talking about Luffy and Loki are the ones that sent Imu back. That could 100% be the case. You know, Imu was taking over Gunko, so Imu was not 100%, you know, and they were far away from their main body, so Imu definitely was nerfed just a bit. But I don't see that being the case. Let's look at other, you know, series, for example. Usually when the big bad meets the main protagonist, it's all bad. You know what I'm saying? Like the first fight usually never goes in the protagonist's way. They usually did real bad, and then they, you know, power up, blah, 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 whatever. But in this case, when they came face to face with each other, once again, I want to remind you, it was Gunko / Imu. So it really wasn't Imu, but it was Imu at the same time. When they came face to face with each other, Luffy and Loki seemed to have did Imu bad. But my theory is, I don't think that they even touched Imu. This is what I think. I think Imu got out of there before the attacks were even close to hitting him,
and went back to Marijois. The reason he went back to Marijois, if you remember at the beginning of this elbaf arc, we were introduced to Shamrock. Shamrock had to leave elbaf because there was a situation happening on Marijois where they were being attacked or something, you know, and he was sent back and was replaced with Gunko/Emu. Now, this is the theory. I don't think that Emu is stepping out of the castle to go fight Luffy and Loki, you know, if in their physical form. I think he is about to handle business on Marijois with whoever is attacking the castle, the whole Marijois. Whoever's doing this up here is about to meet Emu. I don't think that Emu is going back to elbaf. I just don't think that's the case. Now, what I think is happening on elbaf is the Straw Hats are about to get buffs here on elbaf. We already started with Chopper. Chopper knows how to undo the Domi Reversi. Frankie was mentioned a little bit. He was talking to one of the Vegapunks and they suggested that he use something better than Cola or a stronger version of Cola. Would love to see how that plays out. Sanji and Zoro have Conqueror's Haki, and I feel like here on elbaf would be a perfect place for all the Straw Hats to get buffs. But who I think is attacking Marijois, it has to be Dragon. If not Dragon, Blackbeard. But I'm like 90% with Dragon, okay, at this point. I think Dragon is finally making his move with the little words that Oda says at the Jump Festa messages and stuff. I think it's Dragon. Dragon is finally making his move. I don't know what he is doing or why he's attacking. You know, we don't know his motives, but I'm like pretty sure it's Dragon. Now, this would mean, in my opinion, that Dragon is about to fight Emu. And if that's the case, insanery. But I mean, you do have the 5 elders as well, so he could be fighting them, you know. But I don't know. I want to know what you guys think about this theory in particular. But yeah, back to the video. Now for a little recap of these elbaf theories for this video. Dragon has a ancient devil fruit, the serpent model Bakanawa. They have a few similarities and is known as a massive giant dragon serpent-like creature that causes strong winds and storms when they appear, and they also eclipse the moon by swallowing it. And that's the devil fruit I think Dragon has. And next is the reason for the time dilation in elbaf. I personally believe a past user of the Toki fruit stopped time somehow or pushed back time somehow with an awakened version of that devil fruit, and that's why we see the time dilation now. And also our Straw Hats need a buff. And finally, the God of War was either on Emu's side fighting against the Sun God and the rebellion, or was Domi reversing and forced to fight. And the head that is Onigashima is actually the God of War's head. We get into all that, so yeah, they're pretty solid theories, you know. I didn't come up with every detail of these theories, but I do like following theories and maybe adding a little or taking away something, you know. So they are very interesting. Let me know how you feel about these elbaf theories. We have to talk about the biggest ship in One Piece, and that is the Noah. Today I want to make a little video about the mysterious Noah and why it is blowing my mind as of recent, okay? But first, let's talk about what we know about the Noah. We know that it is a giant ship sitting just outside of Fishman Island, and it was Horty Jones's crew's headquarters. And during Luffy's fight with Horty, the ship was almost destroyed. I mean, it was falling apart at the seams. Okay, but what saved this ship was the Sea Kings. This always threw me off because when the Sea Kings talk, I listen. Okay, and what they said was only that clan, or they're the only ones that can fix it. And I think they were alluding to the giants, the Galley Raw, that were lost hundreds of years ago frozen in time. I think they were talking about them. We know that it was made to get the fishman residents up to the surface, which was a plan that ultimately failed. But why am I saying all this? Why do we need to know about the Noah? We already know about the Noah. And it is because recently the word promise is being thrown around a lot in this One Piece story. Hello? And one major thing I forgot about the Noah is the Noah is known as the ship of promise. Walk with me. Now, we know that it's in connection to Joy Boy's promise of taking the fishermen up to the surface with the Noah. Okay, we know this. But what if there's more to it? Okay? Because what if it's also a connection to Davy's promise that we just found out on God Valley? We don't know what the promise is, okay? But what if, for this to really make sense, I need you to go watch another video. I have Davy Jones was a giant fish man. Walk with me, don't, just walk. And I believe he used the Noah as his ship. The ship of promise, okay? Don't say nothing, because we know nothing, okay? And I'm just speculating here. These are not facts. These are not facts. I'm just having fun, okay? I keep saying this in my videos, but it's true. I just want to have fun. I just want to theorize about things, okay? Until they get answered, we know nothing. But just for a little recap, a little shortened version of it, I feel like the Noah belonged to Davy Jones, and it is called the Ship of Promise, not only for Joy Boy's promise, but for Davy Jones' promise. Whatever Davy Jones' promise is, it's all connected to the Noah somehow, some way. The Void Century flashback is coming, okay? I mean, for God's sakes, we just got the God Valley flashback, okay? So it's coming. Today, I want to speculate, okay? Walk with me, just speculate with me about the Void Century, well, pre-Void Century devil fruits, okay? Joy Boy's era's devil fruits. Who had what? Okay? Now, nothing here is facts, okay? I mean, there's a couple facts, like Joy Boy's devil fruit, we know, but nothing here is a fact, okay? I am just speculating. We're just having fun. Okay, now let's start with Joy Boy, okay? A devil fruit that we know exists, and we know that Joy Boy was the previous user of the Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika, mythical Zoan, which we thought was the Gum Gum fruit. Very interesting. I have a video about this coming up, so just stick with me, walk with me, please. We know what the Gummo Gummo no Mi can do, okay? But when it comes to the Nika version of this fruit, I feel like we've only scratched the surface. I feel like there is an awakening within an awakening, okay? And walk with me, okay? Now here's when things start to get speculated, okay? The next person I want to talk about is Davy Jones having the Chop Chop fruit. I posted a video about this. It's just a little theory. Like I said, I like theories. I'm just reading them out. Don't shoot me. And Davy Jones' sin was chopping up the poneglyphs. That is ultimately why he was cursed by Emu, the devil themselves, and sent or drowned to live at the bottom of the sea. Okay, so Davy Jones chopped up all these poneglyphs, but who sent them around the globe? I think that personally was Lily. She had the pawpaw fruit, okay? Hear me out, hear me out. We know how the pawpaw fruit can work. There's two distinct features with this: sending people flying, but also taking things like fear and making them into a physical form and attacking with it. It's a very interesting fruit. And I feel like a lot of these fruits come together to do some things that have monumental impact into our future, which is where we are in the story right now. And that was ultimately her sin, and why Emu is still raging about Lily to this day. Okay, let's be real. Is sending all the poneglyphs around the world with the pawpaw fruit that Davy Jones chopped up. I said walk with me. Now, Toki with the Toki no Mi, it's a time traveling fruit, which I think is one of the most broken powers in One Piece. It's not super like OP, like you can kill somebody with it, but it's broken when it comes to just the storytelling. Okay, it's broken. And I personally believe that she either escaped or was sent on a mission into the future by Joy Boy, by Joy Boy's crew. Something was up. Something is up with Toki, and it will be revealed in this Void Century flashback. Okay, now those last people, we know they existed. Okay, we know the Devil Fruits existed. But I'm about to... This is when I really need you to walk with me, okay? Okay? Now this one, I didn't come up with. Honestly, I'm gonna be so real. I didn't come up with this one. I like reading about One Piece theories, and this one just kind of sparked my interest just a tiny bit. So walk with me. Vinsmoke Romeo. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Just hear me out. Vinsmoke Romeo had the Ope Ope no Mi, and he is the one that did the procedure on Imu to give Imu everlasting eternal life, okay? Betraying Joy Boy in the process. Because I also have a couple theories coming out about Imu being a good guy or pretending to be a good guy when he first got here. Walk with me. So Romeo didn't think that he was doing anything wrong, but at the same time, it's not rare for a Vinsmoke to be evil or, you know, just pure scientifically focused, okay? So it's in the realm of possibility. Anything can happen in the Void Century. Literally, we don't know much, okay? We know tiny bits, but we don't know much. Like I said, I didn't come up with that one. Don't shoot the messenger. Now this one I did come up with, okay? Please do not drag me. Don't drag me. Monkey D. William. He had an awakened soul, Big Mom's fruit, soul fruit, and is responsible for wills being passed down generation after generation. This was his sin. Okay, because I ultimately do genuinely think that there was a Monkey D back in the Void Century. I don't think that they just popped out of nowhere. I definitely think the family might be important. I don't want Luffy to be related to Joy Boy. I also don't want Shanks. I see a lot of people talking about that to be related to Joy Boy. I want Joy Boy to be his own thing, okay? But if he is related to Luffy, hey, it is what it is. Now the last person I'm gonna talk about is Narona Imu. And I think they have the devil fruit, okay? Walk with me. We know very little about Imu's power, but what we have seen is very telling, okay? A lot that we have seen really points to him kind of having similarities to other, you know, like cartoonish devils, or even devils in like the Bible and stuff like that. We know he can transform others and control them as they are demons, literally creating demons. Isn't that insane to really think about? That power, his power is OP. And honestly, I'm kind of on the side of the fence that it's not even a devil fruit. Who knows? Who really knows? But I just wanted to give him something. I gave all these other people something. I wanted to give him something. And yeah, like I said, I hope you walked with me. This is purely for entertainment purposes only. Okay, I don't know shit. Neither do you. So that's what it is. So just a bit of recap. We kind of just basically said all of Joy Boy's crew members, maybe at this point. And yeah, it's simply what it is. A lot of clashes happen in One Piece, okay? This one is going to feed generations. Walk with me. Today, I want to speculate a little bit about Davy Jones versus Imu. Now, I know we will see Imu versus Joy Boy at some point in the story. And honestly, that will be even more legendary than Davy Jones versus Imu. But what we know about Rock saying that Davy Jones was the previous king of the world just goes to show you that they definitely had some sort of interaction. Walk with me. Now here's what I think happened. Okay, Davy Jones was clearly the former king of the world. Emu wasn't originally from here. This is another theory that I have coming out. Emu was an alien, watch out for it. And he brought devil fruits with him to this blue planet. And in my opinion, gave Davy Jones the chop chop fruit, okay? I have a theory about this, Davy Jones having the chop chop fruit. On my YouTube, so go watch that. Emu's plan was to come here and take it over, rule it, and drain the planet of its resources. But Emu doesn't come out and directly say their intentions here on the blue planet. So Joy Boy and Davy ultimately befriend Emu, okay? And I feel like he was waiting for the right moment to strike, to put his plan into action of ruling over the blue planet. Because I also think that he was looking for something else, not just resources and ruling over the world. But he was impatient and decided to take matters into his own destiny, fate, into his own hands. And honestly, I feel like after he's seen how advanced that kingdom was, the ancient kingdom was, it reminded him of his home planet, and he didn't like that. And ultimately trading in on his quote-unquote friends and Domi reversing Davy Jones and using Davy Jones' face to tell the world something that makes the ancient kingdom look bad and turning the world against Davy. Okay, and at this point, the rest of the world doesn't know that Emu exists. Emu has taken control of Davy Jones, and it looks like Davy Jones is like a Dressrosa king situation, or even an alabasta situation. But Emu decides to not kill Davy. He wants the 20 kingdoms to come together to do it. So they feel like they have freed their own people, their own world. It was a huge coup de grace. Okay, honestly, and it's kind of interesting. If this does, I feel like something like this will happen, but it's just, I think it's good story writing in my opinion. Emu obviously has a select few that he trusts. Obviously, he puts them at the top of the world as the world government, and him being the ultimate ruler of the world, but that people don't know that, though, that he's up there. He did all this and is hiding in the shadows, ruling over the world from the shadows, and sending Davy, the former king of the world, to the bottom of the sea, cursing him and sending him to the bottom of the sea to die, essentially. Okay, and that's just what I think might happen. Okay, I say this over and over again. I need to hammer it into your guys' heads. This is indeed not facts. Okay. We don't know anything at this point. It's just pure speculation, and I'm just having fun, okay? I want to know what you guys think. What do you think actually happened between Davy Jones and Emu, and ultimately why did this happen? I feel like it was a coup de grace. It could have been something else. Davy Jones could have been evil, okay? We just don't know. Something went down between Joy Boy and Emu. Walk with me. And today, I want to talk about what Joy Boy did to piss off Emu 800 years ago. We're getting into some theories here, okay? Now, let me preface this. Let me say this before we get started, okay? I think Emu is an alien who came to the One Piece planet in search of the Mother Flame, or something like the Mother Flame. Go check out this video that I just posted about Emu being an alien. I explain it a lot more in there. This is just what happened with Joy Boy and Emu, okay? Now, Emu needs the Mother Flame, okay? We know that they do need the Mother Flame indeed, but he needs it to ignite his true power, to do whatever it is that Emu needs to do or wants to do. And whatever it is that he wants to do, we've already seen just a little tiny bit of amounts of an incomplete Mother Flame can do. Okay, that scene of Lucia is insane. Absolutely insane. Now imagine what a lot more of the real version could do. Okay, and Joy Boy knows this. okay? Walk with me. And I think the mother flame is key to the most powerful forms of certain devil fruits. They can awaken even more. An awakening inside of an awakening, okay? I mean, for God's sakes, this was the ancient kingdom, and we know them to be very smart people. In the government's eyes, too smart of people. So they had to have been doing tests with these devil fruits and the mother flame together. I just can't prove it yet, okay? But just keep walking. Now, somehow, some way, I feel like the mother flame can be consumed somehow, some way, okay? Just keep walking to bring out this tremendous power, and I believe that is what Imu was trying to do here with the mother flame on the One Piece planet. Now let's pause here, okay? What is the mother flame, okay? Also known as the undying flame, it can be used to cause mass destruction, as I said with Louisia, and imagine that destruction being entangled into a devil fruit. Like, let's say the Gura. Hello? Like, are you imagining this with me, or am I alone on this? And I do think that whatever this power is that can be unlocked in these devil fruits, that will be Luffy's final form. I have a video about that coming out soon as well. And Joy Boy is aware of all this, and I think that he ends up putting out the flame. That is what was Joy Boy's sin and what pissed off Imu 800 years ago. Even to this day, Imu is still pissed. When he feels Emmett untie that knot on Egghead, he is seething. Joy Boy really pissed Imu off. A vendetta was truly created here, not only with Joy Boy, but with that devil fruit, because I think that the Nika fruit is the only fruit that can put out the mother flame, okay? The undying flame. Remember that. And that is why they've been looking for it for 800 years at this point. And even went as far as changing the name of the devil fruit to the gum fruit. That's what we were introduced to it as. And now we know it is the Hito no Mi, Model Nika, Mythical Zoan. It's a lot. The dynamic here is crazy. And it's because they don't want to deal with this again. They don't want Joy Boy or whoever embodies Joy Boy to ruin their plan, their evil plan. Can't ruin our evil plan. Okay, so for a little recap here. Joy Boy and the Hito no Mi, Malonika are the only things that can extinguish the mother flame. Doing that has caused the better half of a millennium of pure anguish from Imu towards Joy Boy and the Nika fruit, because at the end of the day, everybody thinks Joy Boy lost. Joy Boy's dead. Imu runs the world. But yeah, what if Joy Boy did lose, but he didn't at the same time? By putting out the mother flame, absolutely ruined Imu's plan here on the Blue Planet. So I'm on to something. I feel it. I'm on to something. But, I can't prove anything as of yet, okay? But just remember this conversation. Gear 5 isn't Luffy's peak, okay? He will beyond surpass it. Walk with me. Today, I want to talk about Luffy's next buff, or Luffy's next upgrade, Gear 6. Okay, and this kind of goes into the videos I've been uploading recently. It's kind of like a series in a way, okay? I'm talking about what is happening in the Void Century and what Joy Boy did to Imu to piss him off 800 years ago. So this kind of goes into this little series that I have going on. Go check out those videos, very integral, and I'm kind of onto something. But let's get into this. Let's start with the mother flame, okay? I personally think that Luffy is going to somehow, some way, consume the mother flame. Not by eating it. He doesn't have to eat it, but something is up with this mother flame. Let's look at the ancient weapons as an example. The ancient weapons are powered through the mother flame. The mother flame really can ignite these powers that these ancient weapons have. The power that they do have is insane. Now, let's just say, somehow, some way, we infuse a devil fruit with that same power. Do you know how broken that would be? Joy Boy's hockey on Egghead, the string that Emmett pulled, and that burst of Conqueror's hockey that came out of that, that is on par with what I am getting at. If you infuse a devil fruit with this mother flame, it will be insane. You will be able to see the true power of a god, sun god, Nika. Now, what is the sun most known for? Okay, it's orange. It's, you know, or red, or and it's flames, it's hot. But Luffy doesn't really have a move that will, you know, like it doesn't give sun god, like it doesn't give the vibes of a sun. Outside of, you know, Red Rock and the steam that comes with his transformations, he doesn't really get hot, okay? Just keep walking. I told you to walk with me, walk with me. And why is this? Because Oda is saving it for the final war, okay? Keep fucking walking. And let's look at where we are in the story literally right now. We know that you need powerful haki to defeat enemies like Emu, enemies like the Holy Knights, the Gorosei. You need it. But also on Egghead, we see Joy Boy's Conqueror's haki, and that is the way to defeat. So it's like all happening at once, okay? And most of the Straw Hats do not have this Conqueror's haki, especially, at least this, not even Luffy has that strong of Conqueror's haki to send these people back to where they belong. Which leads me into my next Luffy upgrade, okay? We talked about Luffy's Devil Fruit being infused somehow with the Mother Flame, but now we're talking about Haki God Luffy, okay? These are not official names, just walk with me. Loki and Gaban will teach him this haki. I mean, he already has Conqueror's haki, but they will teach him how to hone it and really put it to work. But ultimately, I think it will be both an upgrade for his haki and his devil fruit, combining the two, the sun god power with the mother flame and the immense Conqueror's haki that will be spilling out of him, and once again showing us the true power of a god in One Piece. But how will he get here? Let's just talk about it for a second. And like I said at the beginning, he will have to consume the Mother Flame somehow, some way. I know it's a reach, but I like reaching, I'm sorry. It'll be an awakening within an awakening with the Nika fruit. Now, I feel like the Giants know things about this devil fruit in particular. But not only that, they know things about Joy Boy as well. And combining these knowledges, something might click here. We also have Lilith, who is a Vegapunk. So combining all this knowledge, I don't think it's that far out of reality for this to happen. Combining Mother Flame with the Devil Fruit powers, I don't know. I might be reaching. I think I'm reaching. And of course for the haki, like I said, it'll be Gaban and Loki that'll teach him things. But also the fight with the Holy Knights will also give him like experience with this fighting style. Okay, so I think elbaf is an arc for upgrades. I'm sorry, it just is. At the end of elbaf, we will see this upgrade. And how long will this take? Let's talk about it for a second. So a lot of people think that another time skip is coming, just to get Luffy to that Joy Boy caliber. Not to mention the other crewmates as well. They have to be, they need power-ups, okay? Let's just be real. They need power-ups. So I definitely agree to an extent about needing a time skip. So we definitely need like a little training arc. But my question is, do we have time for it? Yes and no. Let me explain. Yes, because it is beyond needed. Like I said, Luffy, but not to mention the Straw Hats. So the rest of the Straw Hats, they need this buff. They fucking need it. They can't be walking around with Luffy, a actual god, and Usopp is throwing green stars, you know. Not to shit on Usopp, because Usopp has pulled off some crazy shit, but they need to unlock some more of that haki. They need to just have buffs, okay? They're just simply not ready for Emu. They're not. But I say no because I feel like the story is moving very fast these days. Oda even said himself at Jump Festa in 2026, the story will be moving lightning speed. And it feels like it, you know, that the last chapter of One Piece where we get Harold dying, Loki eats the devil fruit, Ragnar can transform and shit and was protecting the devil fruit. Nobody has eaten the devil. A lot happened in that chapter, so I feel like the story is moving a bit fast. And it's like, do we just have time for another 2-year time skip? No, I don't think we do. Blackbeard will make his move. Emu will be doing bullshit. The world will start sinking even more. So no, not a 2-year time skip. But I think we do have time for maybe a 3 to 6 months, maybe less, maybe more of a time skip. I can see that happening. Kind of like in Wano and Udon, where it wasn't really a time skip. It was more like a training arc, but it kind of happened a bit fast. And Luffy learned Ryu, and it was that, to me, that's a good training arc, and I feel like that could happen here on elbaf. So my final point will be, yes, I feel like we are getting a time skip. Luffy and the Straw Hats need that buff. But I do want to say, I don't think Luffy will just, like, it'll come out of nowhere where Luffy is just up to par to fight Emu at the end of elbaf. I don't think that is the case. I think going along the way, having more experience with these upgrades will put him more in the caliber, but I just think he needs time. He needs a little bit more time, because I feel like Shanks will be Luffy's last teacher, teaching him something that will just blow our minds, will blow Luffy's minds, everybody's minds will be blown by what Shanks has to teach Luffy. That's just a personal opinion, okay? Giving him that final push to defeat Emu. I told you to walk with me. I hope you did. I know sometimes I sound delusional. Hey, it is what it is. This is the world of One Piece, okay? Anything is possible. And I just like to speculate. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked it a little bit, at least. I'm very curious about this Davy Jones character as of recently. My mind is running a mile a minute about theories about Davy Jones. Today, I'm making another Davy Jones One Piece theory, okay? I personally think Davy Jones was a giant fish man. Walk with me. Walk with me. And there's a few things that kind of not prove it, but point to it in the least. So what do we know about Davy Jones right now? Rock said that he was the former king of the world. Where Emu is sitting right now, that's where Davy Jones was basically. Basically, it's parallels here, okay? But Robin told us that he was cursed by the devil themselves and was sent to reside at the bottom of the sea. It's interesting things that we know so far, at least. Now, let's start speculating on this giant fishman idea here, okay? The giant straw hat on Marijwa. I know you guys are tired of hearing about it. I am too, I'm not gonna lie. I just wish that we would get the reveal for it. But it belonged to it had to have belonged to somebody. And for the longest time, people thought it was Joy Boy. But if you look at what we've seen when it comes to Joy Boy, we've literally only seen the silhouette, a couple silhouettes, and he's a small man. Okay, that giant straw hat isn't fitting no small man, unless they could, you know, purposely make themselves bigger. But what would be the point of that, you know, like to constantly be in a big state to wear a straw hat? It just doesn't make sense to me. Now I want to go to the Noah that was at the bottom of the sea next to Fishman Island. That is a giant ship. Now I know that the Noah was made to raise the Fishman Island residents to the surface, but what if it was more than that? Okay, what if we don't know everything? What if it was Davy Jones' ship? A ship made for a giant. That is a giant ship. I mean, we have seen a giant ship, and that's on Egghead. Okay, that ship is huge as fuck. But I think that the Noah, it might be bigger. But what really drove me towards this Davy Jones being a giant fishman is I was just, you know, doing a little research on One Piece, okay, as I do on my free time, okay? And the Noah, I forgot about this, but the Noah is called the Ship of Promise, okay? Now we know that there's a promise already tied to the Noah, and it was Joy Boy's failed promise of taking fishmen to the surface. But what if it's more than that? Okay, what if Davy Jones also has a promise with this fish, or with this Noah arc? Okay, because on God Valley we find out that there is a Davy Jones promise that Rox knows, and Rox planned to keep, but at this point, and we know it's just not gonna happen. And the fact that it was by fishmen, that it's about fishmen, and it was introduced to us in Fishman Island, that just points to Davy Jones low-key being a fishman. And if we look at other stories in real world stories about Davy Jones, he's always a octopus man, okay, a fish man, octopus man, okay. So I wouldn't put it past Oda to do this. And that's really all I have right now for this theory. There's things pointing to Davy Jones being a fishman and also being a giant. You let me know how you feel about that. I know it is a reach, okay? I know this. I know it is a reach. But I'm just having fun, okay? Just let me reach. Just let me reach.